Welcome to AAUW Connections. Tonight we're going to talk about Tech Trek, which is a week-long math and science camp that the AAUW sponsors. Tonight we're talking with 7 girls who went to Stanford this summer for this week-long scholarship program sponsored by the AAUW, where they learned much more about math and science and were taught by all-women teachers and professors. Now there's a really rigorous process for the girls to go to Tech Trek. They first have to be nominated by their middle school science teacher, and then they have to write an essay. After they write an essay, a few select girls are selected for an actual interview process where they spend about a half an hour being asked questions by AAUW members. And after that long process, just a few are selected to get a full scholarship to this week-long camp. Tonight we're going to talk to the girls, and first I'd like them to introduce themselves.
My name is Allison and I go to Egan.
My name is Emily and I go to Block.
I'm Olivia and I go to Block.
I'm Christina and I go to Clarendon.
My name is Kathy and I go to Block.
I'm Zosha and I go to Egan.
I'm Sydney and I go to Egan.
And Allison, if you can start by telling us what core class you got to take.
I took the marine biology core class and we got to learn about the different ocean zones and what creatures lived in those zones. And we also learned about different types of creatures and their adaptations to how they lived and how do they survive in their environment.
And Emily, what class did you take?
I took physics, and we did a lot of work with speed and different velocities. And so one thing we did was we went to a solar car workplace they had outside the Stanford campus where students were working on solar cars. And we actually got to learn how they were building them and how they raced last year in an Australian race.
Did you get in a car, or did you?
Oh, no, we got to watch them race.
You got to watch them go. Olivia?
I was also in the marine biology class, and along with learning about adaptations and things, we also did 2 dissections. We dissected a squid and a fish. And personally, I like the squid. We got to cut it open and look inside, and we also got to take out the eyeballs and open the ink sac.
And Christina?
I took 3D math, which was basically like a problem-solving class. Like our teacher would give us puzzles every day, and we would have to solve it. And sometimes she would give it for homework. So like over at our dorms during dinner, we would like have to solve it. And our roommates and our friends would sometimes have the same problem, so we like work on it together.
So you could do teamwork at night?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Kathy?
I was also in 3D math class with Christina, and one thing I especially liked was the virtual human interaction lab, which is on campus at Stanford. And so basically you like standing in the middle of a room with everyone standing around you, and then you put on this lens, and then like you're in a virtual world. Like sometimes you would be flying up into the air, or you'd be in the ocean, and it was really cool.
And you could see each other doing that, or how did that work?
No, like, so when you put on the lens, you can't see anyone around you.
Zosha?
I was also in physics, and one of my favorite activities was making cars and learning about the laws of physics to make them go faster.
And where did you race them?
We raced them outside of where we were learning, and we got to try to improve on all of our times.
And who was fastest?
We made a lot of cars and made a lot of improvements, but a lot of people won and tied, and it was really fun.
That's great. Sydney?
I was in 3D math also, and we got to build puzzles and do them as homework. And my favorite part was competing in these brain challenges. We got to work together and then also individually, and we worked on solving puzzles and working together as a team.
And how many girls would be in a team at any one time, or did it vary?
It varied definitely, and depending on the activity.
And Emily, can you tell us about another subject you might have had besides that core class?
Oh, well, one thing we did was astronomy. So one day during the afternoon, we got to go over to a presentation kind of area. And we had somebody who that had learned a lot about astronomy. They taught us all about our solar system and beyond that, and it was really cool. And we got to make these star finders that we could hold up, and depending on what time of the year it was and what day it was, we could look for constellations.
You looked through the star finders again. And was that a group activity again that you worked together?
That was a group activity, yeah.
Great. And Olivia, how about another subject you liked?
Well, we got to make spaghetti bridges, which was basically, it was like a competition where we were given a certain amount of uncooked spaghetti sticks and tape, and we had to try to make the longest reaching bridge out of those materials that would hold up a penny.
Oh my gosh, were you
So-
successful in doing that?
Yeah, some of us were. We were in groups of 2, and some of the bridges kind of collapsed or broke, but a lot of people were really successful and they got really big.
And Allison, how about you, another subject?
We also did, everybody did a core class robotics, and it was, we used Lego Mindstorms, and we got to build it and we're in teams of 2. And it was really fun to see, like, once you built everything, which took like an hour, and you could see the finished project, and you were like, oh wow, I actually built something. Like, it actually turned out to be something.
And it worked. Yeah, that's great.
too.
How about you, Christina?
We all had a class of Antarctica. So a professor came to talk to us about how the glaciers have like moved since like earlier times. And we learned about all the species that live there and how like they're going extinct, and how we could help to like improve their habitat.
So they give you kind of practical suggestions for what you might be able to do?
Yeah, and how we could help them, like their like land around.
Right. And Kathy?
One class I especially liked was Pixar. So this woman, I think her name was Michelle, she works at Pixar, and she came and talked to us. So she worked on like Toy Story and A Bug's Life. And so for Ratatouille, she showed us how to like make an animation for the a table. And like it started out really simple, but then she kept adding on like specific details, and it was really cool. And also we learned how like when you make a forest, you have to start from the very bottom. Like you make the ground, and then you put like rocks and then leaves and trees. It's really cool.
So you saw the whole way the movie was made, the animated movie was made? And Zosha?
I also really liked the astronomy, and besides just the presentation, that night we went out into a field, and there were a lot of astronomers that came with all of their telescopes. So we got to go around to each telescope, and they were all looking at a different constellation and different stars and planets. And then at the end, we got to stay later and help people like unpack their telescopes and put them away and learn about all the different parts.
So all of you got to do that? All of you got to interact with the telescopes?
Yeah, it's fun.
And then do you remember about how many constellations you got to see roughly?
Well, so you could stay a different amount of time. So the people that stayed the longest got to see a lot of constellations.
And you got to kind of choose how long you wanted. If you were really interested in astronomy, you could stay a long time. Sydney?
I really enjoyed the robotics, and we got to use Lego Mindstorms and build the robots. But my favorite part was programming them. So we got to program them to do different tasks. And my favorite one was the golf swing. We programmed their arm to hit a ball, and it was really interesting to like. You thought that you programmed it correctly, and then when you actually tested it out, it did like a different thing. So it was really interesting and intriguing and hard at the same time.
Were people able to actually get it to work as a golf swing? 'Cause that's
Yes,
pretty
yeah.
it was really
And
successful.
were all of you involved with it, or was that just for the people who
It was
just
for
had
everybody.
Oh, that's for
Everyone.
everybody.
Yeah.
So everyone tried. How many people were able to have success in it actually hitting the ball?
Yeah.
Wow, pretty good. Pretty good one way or the other. So we've talked about some of the academics. Tell me about kind of the fun things that you might have gotten a chance to do.
We did go fountain hopping for some of the classes.
Fountain hopping. So
Yeah. We were supposed to go to the pool, but apparently for the days that I think marine biology and 3D math, we couldn't go because for some reason. So instead we went fountain hopping, which was probably more fun. And so we went to this big fountain at on the Stanford campus, and we were all in like our swimsuits, and we went in. Apparently a lot of college students do this too, so yeah. It
was this the one in front of the bookstore?
No, it was a bigger one.
It was even bigger than that.
Yeah, it was really fun. Everybody was like having a lot of fun.
Could they fit all the girls in one fountain?
Yeah.
It was
great. It was a really big.
Oh my gosh, because there's about 90 girls or so overall who go to.
Well, it was one core
it
class.
was
at
one
a time.
core class, so it was not quite that many that you had to fit into one fountain.
Yeah.
And was it a hot day?
Sort of, but it was really fun to just play in the fountain.
So you guys improvised, even though the pools weren't ready. You were able to.
Yeah, I
go
think
to
this
the
was more
fountains
fun than the
instead.
pool would have been.
Emily, how about you for fun?
Well, I was in the physics class, and we actually did get to go to the pool. So
Oh,
that
was a different kind of fun.
Yeah, but and it was such a big pool, and there were other groups that were there at the same time. So it was kind of cool. We got to see the other camps that were on the Stanford campus, and we got to swim in the pool, which was fun. And it was, yeah. So it was great that we all got to go there, and it was a little far from the. We had to walk all the way over there. So by the time we got there, we were all like super exhausted, and then we got to swim. So
You were really probably tired.
yeah,
ready
so
for
we were
some
all
cold
hot
water.
and we got to swim. So
How about you, Olivia?
Well, here's another different type of water fun. There was the showers, and so we got to shower pretty much whenever we had free time. Like whenever we wanted to shower, we could just shower. And
This is different what you get at home.
and so like you'd like go into the separate stalls, and like maybe your friends is in the one next to you, and you can sing in the shower with them. So that was a fun time.
That sounds great. So we have lots of water themes. How about for you for fun?
For me, it was what we did on Friday night, like the last night we were there. And it was a build-in night where we were all in our like dorm rooms, like our dorm.
You were where you stayed, yeah.
Yeah, and we had to build something out of newspaper, right? And they would give us the newspaper in advance, and we had to like roll it up and make something out of it, right?
So did they give you any directions about what to make?
No.
You just gotta make whatever's.
Yeah, like my group, we did a cathedral.
Wow.
The
And you were
Florence
able to,
Cathedral.
how many people were in your group?
About like 10, 11.
And what are other things that people made with on Build It Night?
Treehouse.
A tree house? A
Ferris wheel,
Ferris
yeah.
wheel.
Wow. And did it go around the Ferris
It did.
wheel?
It was kind of lopsided, but it worked.
And carousel.
That's pretty inventive.
There was the Hoover Tower.
That was really cool.
Oh, yeah,
too.
there was.
And the treasure chest that somebody made.
Was it hard for the group to decide what to make?
Well, I think after we got the good idea, we're all like, okay, yeah, let's do that.
Actually, my group kind of decided on it the dinner before the build it night, so like 2 hours before, and we were just like, okay, let's just do that.
And you did it. And about how long did it take to build to do this Christian? Once you came up with the idea?
They gave you an hour.
Like an
I
hour
think.
and
That-
like and a half.
Yeah.
or something
But
like that.
everyone had their rolls of paper already made.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
so they had something to start with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or else that would have taken forever.
But still, building a cathedral in an hour, that's actually pretty good. That's pretty good. So Kathy, how about,
I also want to talk about the build it night. So yeah, basically we had to make paper rolls, but like a big part of it was teamwork. My group wasn't so good at that. But like we fought a lot, but in the end we like held ourselves together and we made a tree house. Even though it didn't look that good, we worked together, and then in the end it was okay. So
good, well done. Sosha.
I really enjoyed just dorm time where you could just go to your dorm and relax and get to know the dorm mates better. So you got to see all of your friends and just relax between classes.
And about how much time did you all get for dorm time on a typical day, or did it depend?
We got quite a bit.
hours.
Yeah.
Some of it was taken by shower.
When you weren't doing that great shower, and was that usually in the evening?
Yeah, sometimes we got a little bit before and after lunch, but our days are really crowded, so kind of we had just spaces between each class to kind of relax.
And that's when you got to talk to sort of get to know the girls
Yeah.
that you were with. Were you with girls that you knew, or were you with girls that you hadn't met
I think
before?
they intentionally put you with other groups that like from
Yeah.
other branches.
So you had a real opportunity to meet many of the other girls.
yeah.
Sydney, how about you? For fun?
I really enjoyed the food. They fed us very well at Stanford, and they had a large selection of food. And dinner time was one of my favorite times because you got to catch up in your day and talk about what all your friends did and your dorm group did. And they fed us well. The food was good, and we had a lot to talk about at dinner. So.
Oh, and it sounds like you were getting to eat with all these fun friends. So
Yeah.
it was a social time as well.
Social hour, yeah.
And so what surprised you about Tech Trek? Because I know all of you heard a little bit about it because there had been other girls from your middle schools who had gone in previous years. So what surprised you about it? Olivia, anything in particular?
Probably just the people there. Like, I was kind of expecting like a bunch of like girls carrying around math books that were like complete geniuses, and I was pleasantly surprised that there were a lot of girls that were just like me.
And how about you, Emily?
Yeah, I agree with Olivia. I expected like some sort of intense nerd camp. I mean, not but where everyone was, yeah, like she said, geniuses. And I was really scared that I wasn't going to be up to par. And it really surprised me. It was really great. And all the girls seemed so normal.
Right.
So it was great.
Well, just like you all are.
Yeah.
Right? How about you, Zosha? Anything in particular?
Well, I had heard from people that went in previous years that it was amazing and life-changing, and I was kind of worried that it maybe wouldn't live up to the expectations, but it really did. It was really amazing, and I was not surprised, but just really pleased that it was as good as people said it was.
And Sydney, anything for you that was a surprise?
The people there were really nice, and they were just kind of all like us, interested in math and science. And also the variety of people. They came from a lot of different backgrounds and all had similar interests, and that was fun.
And how about you, Christina?
What really surprised me was the food. I was expecting
Right, clearly this was a very good thing for everyone.
I was expecting like sandwiches or something that you would like eat like ordinary, that was a simple meal, but we were treated like queens. Like the food was great. It was just great. Yeah.
And Kathy, your thoughts on that?
I know everyone said this, but the people there, yeah, like since in all girls camp, we got to just like express ourselves so we could just have fun. Like, yeah, not everyone was just like a super genius, but like, so we all got to relate to each other better, so it became really fun.
Well, it seems like, you all are very, very bright, and you got through a rigorous process, and despite that, you're all delightful and a lot of fun to clearly, just getting to spend a little time with you, you're really fun, and you've had a lot of fun together as well. Did Tech Trek change what you thought about what you might do in college at all? So Zosha, any thoughts on that?
Well, I'm now really interested in going to college. Like, it now all seems really exciting because we got to be kind of in a college experience, like in the dorms and eating in like a dining hall kind of. So now like I'm really excited to go, I guess.
Just for the whole college experience. And Sydney, how about you?
Yeah, the same thing. I'm really excited. It got me really interested in math specifically, and I like my class really support. I like puzzles, and I'm interested in this. I don't really know what I'm going to study yet, but it kept me motivated.
Right.
Yeah.
Kathy?
Yeah, it definitely changed a lot for me. So like on Professional Women's Night, there was a Stanford computer science professor, and she talked about her job, and like before I was like okay with it, like I was just like okay with it, but now I like really want to like go into computer science and like digital technology and like social media, so now I'm really excited.
So did you know other computer scientists before you had met her?
My mom and dad are both engineers.
Right, so meeting someone outside the family was even extra motivation on that score. How about you, Christina?
It really did, because before I thought I was, well, like at my school, there are like really smart people, and I always felt myself like one of like ordinary, really not smart. And I came here, and that just like showed that like I am smart enough to go to college, and like it kept me motivated to keep on trying. And on Professional Women's Night, all kinds of like women with different kinds of professions came and talked to us all about what they do, and it got me interested into what they were doing. Like something over here I liked, and like something over there too, and like I want to do both, but I have to do something.
But it gives you lots of ideas of possibilities for you to explore.
Yep.
That's great. How about you, Emily?
Well, like everyone said pretty much, the Professional Women's Night, it was really inspiring because I got to see all these women who had gone through college and have all these great careers, and it was really like, oh wow, I could actually do this. I could become something like this, and it was really great. And like Kathy said, there was a computer scientist, and she said that a lot of college students, they'll come in and they'll take a computer science course, and I think that would be great for me to take now because I'm looking at it, and that would be really cool. So
yes, you can learn more about it whether you decide to continue in computer science. You can at least get an exposure to it. How about you, Olivia?
Well, when we had the the lesson on Pixar, the woman who came from Pixar, I was
Right.
definitely interested in that. Like before Tech Trek, I never would have really thought about doing animation.
Right.
And when she talked to us about it and she showed us how to do it, I was like, wow, I want to do this. And it just looked really interesting and fun.
Right, and we're going to have animated films for a long time, so we need you to continue the tradition. Allison?
I think Tech Trek, because of all like the core classes and the different like little classes and the presentations, they opened my field of like what science and math is like a lot. Like when I thought of science before, it was like chemistry or like doctor stuff, or like math would be just like, let's just do math problems, algebra, stuff like that. And then when I went to Tech Trek, I saw like there was like robotics, there was like computer like engineering or something like that, and it really opened up like what I thought
There's
math
a
and science
huge
was.
range, right, of alternatives. Now, did all of you think of yourselves as math and science people before you went to Tech Trek?
A little bit. Yeah.
So it sounds like some yes, some no, but and how about now? Has that changed now when you've had that experience?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say, yeah.
There's something about that sort of got you more inspired. So tell me about friends, making friends. Like, did you get to make new friends, people you didn't know before?
Yes.
Yes,
It
definitely.
wasn't as awkward as I
And tell
thought.
me, so Kathy, can you tell me just a little bit about how the dorms worked in terms of meeting new people? Because I think you all mentioned that you were put in rooms with people that you hadn't necessarily met before. So tell me what the dorm setup was like.
So like there would be dorm groups and each would have a dorm mom. So each dorm group would be about 10 people. And so there's just like one part of the hall of the floor in the dorm. So like me and my dorm mate, we were one bunk. Most of the other rooms were 4 people in a room.
Oh, and you had just 2 in your room?
Yeah, so we could connect better.
You could sleep more easily. And so that was that. So you were all in the dorms, and were any of you in rooms with people that you had previously known, or was it all new?
They try to make you like have more friends with other people from other people.
That's right. And do you think you'll stay in touch with any of the people that you met?
I hope so.
Definitely.
Yeah. Just every time I send the email and then slowly goes down because everybody's busy with like schoolwork
Right.
and stuff.
Right, because since you're also into math and science, you have to study a lot. So, and you talked a little bit about how much time you had together. So did you hang out, other than in the evenings, with your dorm mates? Did you do was it mainly evening time that you had with them versus the class time during the day?
There's also meal times, like we just
Yeah.
we sit usually with our like dorm groups and we just like talk
With
to
that
each
great
other.
food that you gotta have, right?
Our dorm mom actually, like, she had us sit with each other for the first few days, and after a while, we just kind of absentmindedly would sit with each other. So it was kind of a great way for her to get us to connect.
That's great. And so tell me about what your favorite thing about Tech Trek was. Maybe Sydney, you can start.
My favorite part was the motivational part. They really inspired me to like keep going in the field of math and science. And also the people that I met, the people were really nice and motivational. So
And was there anything they did in particular that kind of was inspiring?
it's particularly like in the robotics. There's this lady, and when our robot didn't do or when we programmed it incorrectly,
Didn't hit that ball after all, right?
She didn't just tell us the answer. She may have gave us a hint or two, but she really let us find it out on our own. So that then once we found it out, then we felt like, oh, I can really do this myself. I don't have to wait for other people. I have to.
You can really explore it yourself.
Yeah, I
That
can do
is
it
great.
myself. Yeah.
And Sosha?
Well, I was I think it was really cool to see that it wasn't just a stereotypical person in science or math, that there were a lot of different career choices to do in one particular topic.
Right.
Especially in Professional Women's Night, we could see all of the different people that were in science and math.
I know, it's such a big range. Kathy?
Like I said before, the professional woman, now I'm really into it and I like connecting with her, email and stuff.
So you stayed in touch with the computer
Yeah.
scientist? That's great.
I want to be a high school intern there now, so I'm just really into it now and it's really inspired me.
Wow. Christina?
What I really liked would be the classes. Like they were like different from the ones we take here at school. They were like, they explained everything in a different way, so you would get more into the subject and like the class more. And well,
And it sounds like you got to really do hands-on stuff because you guys
Yeah.
built stuff, made stuff, and it wasn't just getting lectured or getting,
Yeah.
spoken to.
I really liked that we got to like meet a lot of new friends that were into like math and science like us, and it was really fun to meet everybody and to make new friends, and yeah.
It just sounds great from the people point of view too.
Well, I really liked how just the environment. I mean, there were all these women who just fully supported us, and no matter what we really wanted to do, they would help us, learn all about this. Like when we went in physics, she just wanted to just all we could possibly cram in about physics, and it was just like all these women. It was amazing.
That's great.
I probably liked just living on a college campus for a week. Like, it really made me excited for college. It made me want to go to Stanford, and it just made me realize that like if I can get into this, maybe I can get into
This is
a
the
good
first
college
thing that you can.
too.
Yeah, because
Like-
what did you all think of the process you had to go through to earn the honor of getting to go to Tech
Nerve-wracking.
Trek?
Very
Yeah.
scary.
What was the hardest part about it?
Interviews.
Essay.
I mean, writing the application, we had to like write all these different little mini paragraphs, and the essay, I was so nervous. I didn't know what I was going to pick, and I thought that was
Well,
gonna
clearly you
screw
all
up.
did an excellent job because you ended up getting to go, and that's just a great experience to have because Tech Trek is sponsored by the AAUW, so we really appreciate AAUW members giving their donations so that you can provide scholarships. And we urge anyone watching this, if you can donate to the Tech Trek program, that enables young ladies like these to get this incredible experience. And so I wanted to thank you for joining the AAUW Connections, and good night.